Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and good afternoon everyone. Thank you Madam Chairperson for the introduction. Bear with me a few minutes for me to set up this. Okay, I'm Norazia as been introduced just now. So from USM, my co-author is Associate Professor Dr. Wanama Jafar from USM. If you have anything to ask later, he'll be answering your questions. Okay, so the title for today's presentation will be a concept of learning engagement model of Malaysian digital traditional games. So this will be my presentation outline. I'll go very fast for this. I'll start with a brief introduction why we are interested with games. Next, DTG, digital traditional games. I'll give a brief introduction and definition of what digital traditional games are, games engagement, and we will have a brief discussion on what are the issues that led us to conduct this study. The main point of today's presentation will be our proposed model to be incorporated in digital traditional games. And finally, I will conclude with my conclusion. Okay, as the introduction, as what you can see here, learning happens everywhere, either informally, formally, as what we are having now in the hall, or through experiences from social activities like playing sports or even playing games. So to start the definition, let's have a look let's do a quick survey here in the hall. How many of you are familiar with this? The games. Or how many of you have installed this in your mobile phone or in your gadgets? I can see young hands over there. Maybe there are big gaps here. Old generations might not familiar with the icons. Young generation are familiar with this. Just to introduce a bit, these are popular digital games. Just to share you the experience yesterday when I was waiting for my flight to come here. While we were waiting for boarding, I can spot some of us are playing games through phones. I can see some senior men playing games. I hope he's not here. So games are getting popular now, as the study claims that most of us spend about 20 hours per week in browsing on the internet, and 48% of it we spend to play games. So now you know the important why this research comes into the picture, because we know games is getting more popular. When we talk about something serious, have you heard about gamification? Yeah, educationists have take games into serious business. We bring games into education. Later, maybe not, it won't be long. Later, we can just catwalk to class and bring your mobile phone, and we teach our students by using games. So some of you are not familiar what gamification is using game context to learn any concept in education. So it has been widely used now in education. So as an example, there are many games have been developed for learning disabilities. For example, 10 popular games have been developed for dyslexia. Our focus for today is on the engagement of the games, because there are many things that can be discussed about games, but our concern is on game engagement. As the definition, we can see that engagement as one of the crucial component of learning in games research, and it is claimed by one of the prominent scholars. Game engagement affects the learning. Engagement can be seen as the output, one of the output of learning, and we can see that engagement is linked positively to the learning process. So there are many types of games, but our interest is on digital traditional games. What are digital traditional games? In easy words, we can say that traditional games in digital version. There are many efforts have been done, not only in Malaysia, in Sri Lanka, in Indonesia, in India, even in India. People have transformed our traditional games into digital version. So now we don't have to carry those heavy Congkak board, for example, we carry Congkak everywhere we go. We play Congkak here. So this is the concern. So our concern of the research. So what are the issues behind it? There are 5 main issues that I have divided into 2 main aspects. The first 3 is regarding the domain itself. There are lacking of digital traditional games, because previously when I show you the icons of contemporary games, it has been downloaded for 650 millions or up to 550 millions compared to our 3 digital traditional games. This only has been downloaded for only 1 million times. So the issues regarding the domains is our digital traditional games is far less popular. We have conducted a study involving 550 respondents, and the claim is valid based on the study. And the third issue regarding the domain itself is less studies have been conducted and explored about learning and engagement of digital traditional games. The other 2 issues are regarding the model. When we talk about games, there are a model behind it. So the 4th issues are regarding the lacking of the existing model. The model, one prominent scholar has claimed that the model which successfully integrates educational theory and game-based aspects mostly do not exist. So this is our challenge to create one. The last issue that we have addressed in this study is less focus has been given to illustrate and explore game engagement psychologically, meaning the insufficient psychological aspect has been included when we study about the engagement of the games. Taking examples of related models, these are 2 popular models that have been used when people develop a game, but of course they are lacking of it. Like Chen and his group in 2011, they have listed many attributes of the game engagement without properly analyze and understand the relations of it. The most recent model, which have been developed by Pemandi and Mr. Rafi from MMU in 2015, mainly from augmented reality games, they have listed 8 attributes to measure engagement, but they are yet to analyze the interactions of it. So the challenge is for me and my co-author to come up with one model that can be used by game developers, that can be used by educationists, to come up with games that is engaging to the users. So let's talk about our proposed model. Conceptually, we have divided the concept into 4 main sections. The first one are external properties which belong to the games, the features of the game. The second one are internal properties which belong to the player, the gamers. These 2 main components are important, because when we talk about game, we cannot disassociate between game and the player. Of course, we have the game characteristic, and players has the important characters that will contribute to the engagement. So these 2 properties, these 2 main components will interact and will produce the states, the output. The output is the states of player when we're playing the game. The output will be analyzed and will produce engagement pattern or learning pattern. So here I have divided engagement level as 2: short-term engage and long-term engage. I'm sure every one of us will fall into one category later. Okay, maybe it is too small for you to see, but let me just summarize it. We have analyzed main theories, we have analyzed related models, main models, we have conducted a survey among the millennials. Later, if any one of you from the millennials group, if you are interested to be our respondent, you can come forward and volunteer to be our respondent. Okay, from extensive literature review from the survey, we have discovered 26 variables, properties, but we have reduced the redundancy, we have checked the relevancy, and finally we came out with 12 properties which are 12 important properties of the games that will contribute to the engagement. The second component is regarding the characters of the player, the gamers. We have identified 22 properties from the same activity, but we have finalized only 10 are relevant to be used in the model. The output, these are the output. Maybe some of you will feel enjoy, some of you will feel challenged because your friend is at the top rank. So there are two categories of output here, positive states or negative states. We have enjoyment, we have satisfaction, we have challenge, we have arousal, escapism, and bored. Maybe some of you, when you play simple games, you'll feel bored. You won't feel engaged, you won't get engaged to the games. Okay, based on the output, there are two learning patterns to be analyzed. One is short-term engaged or long-term engaged. If you can see here, the first graph showing this part, showing short-term engagement. We keep playing, but in short-term, you play, you stop, you play, you stop, you play, you stop, but you keep playing, you get hooked to the game. Second category is long-term engaged. You spend so much time playing the game, meaning you are engaged to the game and get hooked to the game. So, with all those criteria that have been discovered, that have been identified, this is the proposal. This is the model to be used by game developer, to be used by educationists who are interested to apply gamification in education. But this model are yet to be validated, yet to be formalized. So next step for the model is first is to formalize it. What we will do, we will come out, we will analyze properly the relations involved, and later this model that you have seen just now will have many arrows showing or reflecting the interactions between players and the games. Lastly, in order for the model to be used or to be incorporated in any games, it will go through some process of model evaluation. So there are three parts that you have proposed to be done here. Is the expert review. We have done this. Prototyping. We are in the process of developing a prototype by incorporating the model. We are now have a new version of Congkak. Are you familiar with Congkak? So Congkak has been chosen as the prototype. Why? Because if you check for Android users, Congkak is the most popular. It has been downloaded 400 million times. And we will simulate the model by showing the graph, showing the patterns, the learning patterns. As a conclusion, we can say that we have developed the model, but it is yet to be validated. So who will benefit from the model? So we have listed down four main parties that will benefit the model. First, it will be used as a guide to game developers. Second, in learning domain, we know that we have incorporated learning element and engagement elements in digitized traditional game. And the third party that will benefit from the model is the psychologists. Here we have opened a new dimension to psychologists to utilize psychological theories to understand how human functioning while playing games. And last one, for advanced area, the model can be used to incorporate or can be embedded in robot or virtual agents to simulate how human behave while playing games. I think that is the last slide. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, you can maybe I can attend 2 or 3 questions from members of the floor.